boil.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is so great to be back with y'all again. It's the morning briefing right here on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. It's so great to be back with you all. Wow. That's really all I can say. No, it's not all I can say. I got a lot more to say, but exclamation point on what is going on here in northern Baja and Southern California right now, because it's phenomenal fishing. And I think it's only going to get better as we move into the fall. We get our better weather months. Tremendous bluefin tuna fishing taking place on several boats, including these guys that fish locally. The Pursuit with a huge day. The Pride with another huge day. Both boats out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, south of the border. There's more kelps south of Ensenada and down below that, and fish up on the U.S. side of the border as it really is heating up and getting crazy. It's great to be with you all. Man, I'll tell you, fishing right now is off the hook, and I certainly hope you get a chance to get out and get some fishing in, because boats are booking up and there's very little room on many of the boats. It is phenomenal. I'll remind you all that we have a 2-day trip on the Amigo departing August the 31st. We have a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. trip on board the Malihini out of H&M in San Diego. That's August 19th. And then 2-day trips on the Pride in September and October. Man, those all should be some really great trips. If you want that list, I'll send it to you. Just text me, 657-227-6459, and I'll pop you out the list. Wow, it is really outstanding fishing. Well, the Apollo is back in operation out of C4 Sport Fishing, and they have been just flat kicking butt. Jeff Jessup, Grego Obimeko have been running the boat, and Ricky Carbajal, he's back in the business. I knew Ricky back in the 80s out of Marina del Rey Sport Fishing. He took my two boys fishing one time on the Betty G, I believe it was. I'm not positive. Ricky helped me out there, and it was an El Nino year, and we caught Dorado and yellowfin tuna. We chased all kinds of schools of fish out of Marina del Rey. Well, he's part owner of the Apollo, and he got to go out on a 2-day trip where they had limits of yellowtail, limits of bluefin tuna, and they just keep hammering out good catches of Dorado along with it. The kelps are loaded up. There's bluefin tuna that are finally starting to bite. Not all of them. I mean, you're still going to run across those foamers where it looks like the whole ocean has come up and then nothing bites. But for the most part, everything is settling down, including that drop. Just a banner trip here on board the Apollo as the kelps are producing really, really good fish. I did mention that our best weather months are in the fall. That segues into the weather right now. It's going to blow this weekend over most areas. Some areas it's just going to be breezy. Other areas it's going to get very tough. Like out there at San Nicolas Island, Santa Barbara Island are going to get pretty windy out there in that neck of the woods. And then down where the kelps are, it's going to be breezy. So I just want you to be informed about that. Those kelps are producing great fishing right now. 30 to 40 pound fluorocarbon, and you can get bit on the mono, okay? But fluoro, just to keep you in good practice, I like OpsonUSA.com, www.OpsonUSA.com. Put in FA at checkout, and you'll get a free gift, a handwritten note from my friend Greg Brown. You know, and even though you can get a bite on a bait that's not that great, just stay in practice. Keep choosing a really good hot bait. That'll make all the difference in the world. And it's worth emphasizing that while we do see some small yellows on the kelp patties, the vast majority are gorgeous 8 to 15 pounders with fish sometimes to the high 20s, even beyond that. Gorgeous kelp patty fish, because many years when we're getting limits of yellowtail on kelps, we're catching these 5-pounders and smaller. It's not this year. They are gorgeous, gorgeous fish, and they're pushing up the Southern California coast, and it can't get a whole heck of a lot better than it is right now. You're taking a look at the deck of the Malihini as Bill Wilkerson had a great trip the other day. There's phenomenal fishing for those 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. boats, as evidenced by the San Diego with 95 yellowtail, 46 flatheads, 46 Dorado, 2 bluefin, and a yellowfin tuna. Most of the yellowfin we're seeing down and pushing up are not biting that well yet. We're hoping it's going to start. And most of it seems to be this grade of fish that's like 5 to 10 pounds, like that. So that is smaller grade, a few bigger ones mixed in with it, but more and more yellowfin are going to join this party. They're going to bite at some point in time, and the whole ocean is really cooperating with us right now. And as you know, throwing the iron on a kelp, you can get up to the bow and toss an iron on the lip of the kelp, let it sink down a little bit. Remember, many times, and you'll get a bite, okay, but I want to make this point to you. Many times when you're looking at a body of fish and you see that stuff on the surface, you see fish coming off the kelp, you see fish, a big foamer. Many times you're looking at the tip of the iceberg. Literally 10% of the actual body of fish present. It never hurts to sink that jig down a little bit. Now, sometimes it's just so insane that you want to wind on the jig, but just be patient. Give it a 5 count, give it a 10 count, let it sink down a little bit, take a couple winds, and you'll be into the body of fish, and it will bite even better for you. So keep that in mind. The Amigos had some magnificent fishing trips here recently, all over the yellows, all over the Dorado, some big bluefin tuna. It's been off the hook with great fishing. Fury, Dana Warsport fish, 65 yellows, 37 Dorado, excellent fishing. And the Pride with manager Mike Morrison on board and Benjamin, his son, they limited out on bluefin tuna out there near Santa Barbara Island. What a trip. Limits of bluefin tuna on board the Pride as they just keep doing their thing. 13 of those fish over 100 pounds. And that is what I call long-range style fishing in our own backyard. Just to quote my friend Brian Burrell, who decks on the Monte Carlo. He's so right about that. We are so blessed. The rest of the fish were 40 to 75 pounds. That is one heck of a trip. Incidentally, that area out by Santa Barbara got some seiner pressure. Seiners were out there taking some of that fish, and sometimes that will make the fish squirrely, the ones that evade the nets. I don't see that right now. It's looking very good. We're going to have more problem with the wind here this afternoon as it blows up out there, and this weekend we'll see how it all holds up and continue to monitor it for you very, very closely. So this kelp paddy situation is out of control. Now we've got to kind of just jump up to this neck of the woods where many of the boats that are fishing these all-day trips, Pursuit, all those guys that are doing that right now, they're bumping in freelance, they're bumping in to this bluefin tuna. So if you're jumping on board the Pursuit or any boat that's headed to Catalina Island on a regular basis, you have a really good chance of getting some bluefin tuna. In fact, many of those guys are going to start focusing on bluefin tuna. The freelance got into a bite, got a handful of fish on the boat yesterday, had really excellent signal, really excellent sign. They're out looking around this morning trying to find that BFT again, but on board the Pursuit, what a trip out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. I'm telling you, it doesn't get much better on a day trip out of San Pedro, as they had 23 bluefin tuna on the Pursuit. My favorite number, 23. Why? I was born March 23rd. Patrick, my son, born on September 23rd. Brother Paul, born on February 23rd. My dad's college football number, 23. So it's my favorite number, and a huge day on the Pursuit, as you see, coming on board another nice bluefin tuna, as they had phenomenal fishing. And when you put 23 bluefin tuna on the boat, you've hooked over 50 at least, probably much more than that. These fish, these local fish, are coming in a variety of different ways. Sinker fish, that's one way. We're getting fish on the jigs, like the knife jigs, 120 to 180 gram jigs. That's very effective. Sometimes they will bite a fly line, that is for sure. And we go back to the floral, we go back to choosing a good hot bait, 1/0 to 2/0 size hooks. We also have seen fish on the poppers for private boaters. The poppers have been working real, real well. The Daiwasakana lures have been good. You toss it right into that foamer. We're just seeing phenomenal fishing, and I don't know how it can get much better than it is right now. So that's why I said wow up at the very beginning, but I wanted to elaborate and bring you some more evidence of what I'm talking about. Now, there were guys that saw that fish on these day boats and didn't catch anything, or got completely wiped out by some big fish, but it is absolutely gorgeous, and we've got gorgeous weather here this morning. As I said, we're going to get some breezier conditions here this weekend, and we'll see how that all plays out. Hopefully it's going to be just fine. Islands, let's go down to Todos Santos off the beautiful coast of Ensenada and mention to you that there's some yellows biting there, barracuda, and some really excellent fishing on calico bass. Bait can be a problem down there, so bring some hard baits like Lucky Crafts. That works really, really good. And by the way, why did I leave my Pongero friends out of this discussion? Ensenada, those guys are all over the kelps and catching copious amounts of dorado and yellowtail. Yellowfin tuna starting to get into the picture a little bit more. And also, of course, we are seeing some conditions that the water's so warm, we're seeing even striped marlin down there in that neck of the woods. Those guys are having great fishing. Bluefin on the troll, Mad Max working really, really well. Ensenada going very, very well. Up to San Clemente Island, as I say, everybody's offshore now, but at Clemente, you got all those sea lions that make you lose all your hair. That's what happened to me. I had a full head of hair before the sea lion situation at San Clemente Island and elsewhere. Good fishing for yellowtail, but you lose a lot. And by good, I mean you're going to get 10 to 20 fish, so not bad. Good calico bass fishing going on, and some bonita also out there. By the way, we don't see all that much offshore bonita. Earlier in the year, we were seeing it, but we are not seeing all that much. Catalina Island, you know, that mix of bonita, barracuda, bass. Some days it's okay. It has never gotten wide open. There's a few yellowtail there going to and fro the island. You do have a shot at some bluefin tuna, as evidenced by the scores we're talking about. Santa Barbara Island area, back on the back there. The Pride with that huge day on the bluefin tuna. But at the island itself, there's still some white sea bass and also some decent rock fishing, whitefish, sheep's head, all you want. Same thing at Nicholas, some sea bass, some rockfish. And Channel Islands, not bad. We're continuing to see some fish there. Mirage with 22 guys, had 9 white sea bass, a halibut, bunch of rockfish, 3 barracuda. There's some similar scores like that, and then there's many boats that didn't have a white sea bass up in that neck of the woods. So we'll continue to watch the Channel Islands as they're going to get a little breezy here this weekend. Talking about the coastal situation, it's been a weird year on the coast. I mean, really weird. I mean, conditions have been poor for a lot of the year, which means that sport boats have had their share of bass fishing at times, but I mean, there's been a lot of sculpin and rockfish. And you juxtapose that to the fact that we have all this tropical, subtropical stuff moving in, and it makes you scratch your head and say, wait a minute, what is going on here? We can't get a bite on the beach, and then just a few miles offshore, we're seeing all that. Mark my words, half-day boats are going to be catching bluefin tuna this year. They're going to be catching kelp, paddy, dorado. It's going to get out of control. Down there in the Ensenada area, a little bit of barracuda around University. It's been good. It's backed off a little bit, and they still have bonita bouncing up and down the coast. Good calico fishing along the Punta area, moving up to San Diego. Again, they're fishing rockfish, but they also have some okay sand and calico bass fishing, and pretty much all the way up the coast, we're seeing that. Dana, some calicos, a few barracuda. Tempting to go offshore for everybody right now as more fish push up the Baja coast. Same thing up there in the Santa Monica Bay, Redondo area. Those guys up there are picking away at some bass, filling up with rockfish. Marina del Rey, rockfish, a few bass. And up in the Channel Islands, our friend Cody Rogers on the Island Spirit out of beautiful Ventura sport fishing. He's getting a whack every other day on the barracuda. Some days it's good. There seems to be a lot of it around. So surface iron is a good idea up there to fish with Cody, or on board the California, which is the half-day boat out of Ventura. It's the old Matt Walsh for you Matt Walsh fans. And once again, Ventura Sport Fishing, 805-676-3474. And of course, you got the Endeavor out of there. The reason I skip over the Endeavor sometimes, they just don't have any availability, none. But it's worth mentioning that Tucker McCombs has been out, and he's been hammering away at that bluefin tuna. That guy, his work ethic is beyond, and he's got whatever that thing is that helps you to catch more fish. Tucker's got it. He's a phenomenal person, a phenomenal fisherman, awesome fishing going on. You might want to call the landing and book a trip for next year's sea bass season on the Endeavor, because he will not have it. He may not have it now. I mean, everybody who goes with him and gets a limit of sea bass or catches a giant bluefin tuna rebooks. So think about that, 805-676-3474. Along the beaches, some good corvina fishing. I like up there in the Santa Monica Bay. That's been a good place, digging up some sand crabs. and fishing Corvina, light line, like 6 or 8 pound, really in tight to the beach is where you're fishing. And it's a lot of fun, man. You'll have your hands full with 6 pound mono. I'll guarantee you that. It's a lot of fun. Some yellowfin croaker down the beach here this morning that I saw in the Bolsa Chica area. And again, you can fish a chrome crocodile like that 3/4 ounce. You can also fish all the natural baits, dig up sandworms, fish your grunion that you've frozen from the grunion runs that allowed that take, and some pretty good surf fishing going on up and down the coast. All right, folks, what can I tell you? It's darn good. It's beyond darn good. We're blessed to have this kind of fishing going on, and I don't know how it can get any better, but I get the feeling it's going to do just that. Don't forget, in our show description, you don't even have to have me text you the trips. In the show description here on the YouTube channel, go in there and it'll start talking about morning briefing. Down below that is our charter list. You can click on the link and join us on the Malihini on August the 19th, which will inevitably sell out, so you better hurry on that. And then Amigo, 2-day trip. Last Amigo trip of the year. I think there's 3 spots available. And then 2 2-day trips on the Pride. I'll be on board every single one of those trips with my smiling face and my video camera ready to go so that I can catch you catching your dream fish. And for all of you that I meet out there in public and are so supportive, I can't thank you enough. I deeply, deeply appreciate the great support helping Friedman Adventures to grow in terms of our statistics, our views, and thousands of hours consumed every single week by all of you. So, what can I say? Fishing's great, it's a gorgeous morning, and you guys are awesome. Have a great day, and one thing, I hope to see you really, really soon.